Tokyo Xtreme Racer, a gaming series that elevates the essence of street racing to another level. From high-powered cars to intense battles, it has captivated audiences for over 20 years. Now, the long-awaited return is scheduled for September 25th. Tokyo Xtreme Racer 2025 is shaping up to bring back some of the most legendary rivals to grace the highways of Tokyo. While we've seen much in the early release, the real question remains: which teams, wanderers, and bosses will we encounter in the full release? Today, I'm going to explore several possibilities based on previous games and partial hints for the opponents we should be tuning our cars to face. What it do, y'all? It's your boy Jeremy. Today we are back in here with another great video. I've been wanting to create a video like this for quite a while, and I'm giving it my best shot today. As mentioned in the intro, we'll discuss the rivals I believe will appear in the full release. One prediction might be a bit of a stretch, but bear with me as we go through possibilities and we'll see what we can come up with. So let's start this great video by starting with the teams that I have assembled on my list to kind of give you an idea of where I'm going with my predictions. And the first one we're going to start with is Rat. Now, Rat is a team that has been seen a lot in Tokyo Xtreme Racer, particularly Tokyo Xtreme Racer 0 and 3. They are a team consisting of small cars, or what they like to call Kei cars, K-E-I. These cars consist of Cappuccino, Mazda MX-5, cars like that. The reason I believe we will see this team in the game is due to the cars that they have added to the game. So far, they've added the Suzuki Cappuccino, the Corsair, and the Mazda MX-5. And they've recently announced the S2000, which is a car that was seen in Tokyo Xtreme Racer 0, and it can kind of fit in there. I don't think it'll be on this team particularly, but it's a possibility. Their leader, the Monkey from Tokyo Xtreme Racer 3, is one of the fastest rivals that we come across. He is not a joke, wheel spin and all. But they weren't included in the Import Tuner Challenge due to the car selection. There were no Kei cars in the car selection in Import Tuner Challenge. It was a bit of a small car list compared to what we were used to seeing from Tokyo Xtreme Racer, and I believe that's the reason we didn't see an Import Tuner Challenge. But I believe because of the addition of cars they've added in Tokyo Xtreme Racer 2025, we will see them make a return. Now, for the second team I wanted to discuss that's going to be possibly making a return is Knife and Fork. This is the team that has been in all of the Tokyo Xtreme Racer games in the modern day, I guess you could say. Tokyo Xtreme Racer 0, Tokyo Xtreme Racer 3, and Import Tuner Challenge. This is a team that is assembled through the owner of a French restaurant and his employees. However, their leader isn't as swifty as Rat, but they're still forced to be reckoned with. Their leader does drive a Fairlady Z in Import Tuner Challenge, and seeing that we have a bunch of those in Tokyo Xtreme Racer 2025 already, and there's more on the way, there's a pretty good chance that he's going to be driving another one. So I think it's safe to say that this team will be there as another reoccurring legendary team. Finally, we have B Legend, a rival team first introduced in Import Tuner Challenge. What makes this team special is the members, as it consists primarily of former bosses from previous Tokyo Xtreme Racer games. Most of these ex-bosses belong to the Zodiacs, with one of the members coming from the 13 Devils. Since members of the 13 Devils are already confirmed to be in the game and we've seen them, it's highly likely that B Legend will make their return to the franchise. And that's all the teams I had right here that I think we can make a pretty good guess are going to make their return to the series. However, now it is time to get into the Wanderers. We're going to start off this Wanderers list with a returning member that we've seen in the big three of games, Tokyo Xtreme Racer 0, 3, and Import Tuner Challenge, Speedbox. Speedbox is a Wanderer who we've seen on the Tokyo Highway a good bit of times. Funny enough, it seems that in every game he changes his car up. As we see in Tokyo Xtreme Racer 0, he has an NSX, and then he transitioned to a brownish gold Lotus Europa Special, which is definitely a big shift. And then from there, he switches all the way back around to a Silvia S15. So it seems like he's going with the times. Whatever he feels can help him better win races, he's going to do that. And seeing that he is a returning Wanderer, I see no reason why we won't see him in this next installment of Tokyo Xtreme Racer. And now let's transition over into our next Wanderer member, Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary has driven multiple different cars throughout the games, but they're always red. And she was last seen in Import Tuner Challenge driving a Mazda RX-7. In Tokyo Extreme Racer 3, she was driving a Viper. And I can't really remember off the top of my head what she was driving in Tokyo Extreme Racer 0, but I'm telling you it was red. Her rumors normally revolve around using or having a customized horn at some part of the night. I remember in Tokyo Extreme Racer 3, we had to honk our horn multiple times, kind of within the tunnel areas. And with Import Tuner Challenge, it's just if you have a customized horn, so no one needs to worry about that. Getting into the last Wanderer I put on this list, the Death Driver. This is a very infamous Wanderer that we've seen many times throughout the franchise. This rival's most infamous version of himself is the custom black Nissan Silvia S15 that he drives in Tokyo Extreme Racer 3. The cool thing about this car is that the aura that is surrounding the car when you're racing against it is disorienting, to say the least. It seems to even bend reality at its will, just leaving a whole lot of abstract energy around it. This rival normally didn't appear until the clock time of your system was between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning. In real time. Like, so either you had to go in and change the time, or it had to actually be these times in real life. It's a pretty cool little Easter egg they put out for us, as they always do with the Wanderers. Also, when you buy this car in Tokyo Extreme Racer 3 and drive it on the highway, the buses become white with some cool ghost-like figures in the window. Definitely one of the coolest Wanderers and rivals that we've seen in Tokyo Extreme Racer. Alright, I know I kind of speed blitz those. That's because we got a lot of bosses to get through and I want to make sure I get enough time in for those. And with that being said, let's start off with our first members, Phantom 9. Now when it comes to Phantom 9, we've already seen them in Tokyo Extreme Racer 2025, so we already know that they're there. And recently it was teased the rest of the members in some trailer images as well as the video itself. Now, we don't know all of their names in the game specifically, but we can go over what their former names were. And I think one of them is going to be their current name, but I don't know for sure right now. It was just on the outside of the car. Starting off, we got Crazy Monkey, Sandstorm Emperor, Dirty Fox, and I'm going to butcher this, Namahage. I don't know if that's right or wrong. Please let me know in the comments. They seem to be returning in new cars outside of Dirty Fox, who seems to have stuck to her RX-7. However, with the RX-7, it seems that she's got a new color and a couple of new designs. And also looks like Namahage, I could be wrong again, I'm sorry. It looks like he's driving a Z, and it looks like the new Z. So that's going to be very interesting to see and race against him. I have no doubt in my mind that these bosses right here will be formidable foes as we try to reach their leader, who already knows going to be even more of a headache. We have now arrived at the leader of the Phantom 9, Snake Eyes. I 1000% believe he will be making his return in the latest installment. We haven't seen any images or any hints of him yet, but with Phantom 9 here, he's sure to be right around the corner. In Import Tuner Challenge, Snake Eyes was a force to be reckoned with. He took out many of the 13 Devils and had a rivalry with Skull Bullet during his time in America. His Toyota Supra had quick acceleration and great cornering. The real question, however, is not if he's going to return, it's what he's going to return in. What car will he use? They could bring him back in his iconic A80 Supra, but it also seems like Genki is trying to do something new. They can throw him in the latest version of the Supra. This is something that we'll just have to wait and see, and it doesn't look like we're going to get any spoilers anytime soon as my recording of this video, but we'll see. They might drop a little teaser the day before. And now it's time for us to hop into some fan favorites, starting off with the Red Devil. The Red Devil is a boss that we've seen throughout many installments of Tokyo Extreme Racer. Latest being in Import Tuner Challenge, where he was driving an absolutely ridiculous custom Subaru. Now that one was some crazy imagination by Genki. I am very awestruck by the design. It's definitely one of my favorite car designs in that game. However, what he's most known for is his Skyline R34 with a knife in the top of the hood. That used to freak me out as a kid, I don't know about y'all. But he's a former member of the 12 Zodiac, kind of the right-hand man it seems like to White Charisma. You kind of raise him before you raise White Charisma, and he's definitely a problem. He's always a force to be reckoned with. You can go back and look at my Tokyo Extreme Racer 0 gameplay to see how much of a headache I had with him. Import Tuner Challenge not so much, but he's definitely still speedy. And we can't talk about the 12 Zodiac without mentioning their leader, White Charisma. White Charisma is known for driving his white Mazda RX-7, and it is definitely a problem to Tokyo Extreme Racer 0. It's the only car really that can rival King Speed, or Speed King, whichever one you want to call him, in Tokyo Extreme Racer 0, outside of Unknown, but we'll get to all that later. But just know the leader of the 12th Zodiac is a problem. His car in Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero tops out at 263, which is the max speed you can get in that game. He's definitely very quick. It took me even a couple tries to beat him, and I can see him making a return here. He wasn't as fast in Import Tuner Challenge, even though he still drove a white RX-7, had a little bit different decals and vinyls on the car, but I think we'll be seeing him make a return, seeing as all the bosses are kind of coming together. Alright, y'all already know what time it is. It's time to get to the man, the myth, the legend, Speed King, King Speed, Gente, Emperor Speed, and finally, Swift Emperor. He is always one of the big bosses in Tokyo Extreme Racer. In Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero, he's kind of the first big boss you come across when you're racing against the 13 Devils. And in Tokyo Extreme Racer 3, he's the last boss in Tokyo that you race against. As well as in Import Tuner Challenge, he is the last full boss that you race against without racing unknown. He's always a force to be reckoned with, as I've said before, but he is dangerous. He's most known for driving his Nissan Skyline R34 GTR. It's always been one of my favorite cars. The blue is amazing. It's kind of gone through a couple different iterations, as in Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero, it was more of the Cal Sonic body, while in Tokyo Extreme Racer 3, it just had a custom body kit. Either way, very fast car. He is a rival in Tokyo Extreme Racer 3, as well as Import Tuner Challenge, that has not only an aura glow, but electricity surrounding his car, and it definitely goes to personify the power and speed that he drives with. Now, Swift Emperor has already been teased throughout the dialogue we get in the story. However, we've also gotten a trailer where we see his logo. Basically looking the same, a little bit of changes here and there. It looks really cool. You'll see it up here on the screen. And I know that he is on his way. I know he'll probably be the very last boss we beat in the regular game before another boss, but we'll get to that later. I definitely look forward to seeing what Genki's going to do with his car in this game. They could bring him back in the R34 or the R35 since they recently announced that. Now, we don't know what they're going to bring him in. I think I'm leaning more so towards the R35. However, I'd love to see him back in R34. But like I said, Genki looks like they're doing something new. So I'm okay with an R35. Just don't put him back in the Subaru, Genki. This is not a joke. This is not a game. Do not put him back in there. Well, I mean, it's already too late. Like, by the time this video comes out, they're doing the final touches on uploading the game. Please don't put him in a Subaru, please. He deserves more respect. But yeah, look forward to seeing him. It's gonna be great. All right, look. I know you see it. I know. Listen, this is possibly my sketchiest take, and I understand, but it's only to make the point of my last boss I have on this list. Listen, Zero is a fan favorite. We've seen him in Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero, which is his most popular version by far, and in Tokyo Extreme Racer 3. Now, if you're not familiar with Zero, Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero brings him as a little Easter egg. If you watched anything of Wong and Midnight, read anything, then you'll know that the Devil Z as well as the Porsche, which is called the Blackbird, are rivals. Now, in this series, the main character has the same name as the original rival of the Blackbird, and the Devil Z that was driven by the original driver crashes out pretty bad, which makes the driver of the Blackbird question what's going on when he sees the Devil Z driving around, when he's just driving around, challenges him, races him, finds out it's not the same driver, and is telling the driver that is currently using the car that the car is dangerous, all that stuff. And with that, it kind of starts this whole series of them racing against each other, while the Blackbird's always the one that can closely rival the Devil Z. The only one that really shows a problem. And so Zero's kind of based off of that driver, and it makes perfect sense when you got Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero, which we'll get to in a second. He drives that Porsche, and he is also a problem. Fully tuned, his car can reach 263 miles per hour as well, and it's definitely one of my favorite cars that I've seen in that game. I wish I had bought it and driven it a few times just to see how fast it was. And based off the car list, I don't see that he could make a return unless they hit us with a surprise reveal right before the game comes out. I don't know. And like I said, this is very sketchy. I know. This is a want from me. I don't think we'll see him, but if we do, I'd be super hyped. And I just had to include in the video because I love Zero and I love that Porsche, man. But let me not delay y'all any longer. You know who's gonna be the last person on this list. Let's get into it. We are here at the last stage of our bosses list, and there's no other deserving member than Unknown, aka the Devil Z driver. Now, Unknown's car, aka the Devil Z in the game, is always a type S30Z, definitely one of the fastest cars in the game by far. It doesn't matter which game you get it, especially in import tuner channels. The acceleration off the line is absolutely insane. Now, he has been teased in the store. If you've been paying attention, matter of fact, I'll just go and drop the first clip from my video right here. As you ask yourself that question, it almost feels like you can hear the breath of the demon that haunts this shuttle expressway. What are you trying to say? What of the what? What you mean? 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 You mean him? You mean him? He's here? Oh, yes. Yes. Now you can see by my surprise and my shock and enthusiasm that I cannot wait to see him return. It's always great racing the Double Z, especially given the history and the background that I gave you earlier. It's an Easter egg of Wang and Midnight. I don't think it's the actual driver as far as I know, as far as my research has taken me. I think it's mostly an Easter egg that tokyoxtremeracer likes to show from Wang and Midnight. But the Double Z is never a slouch. It don't matter what game you're playing in, he is always a problem. tokyoxtremeracer 0, he takes off the line so quick, it's cheating. He makes White Charisma and Speed King look like child's play the way he takes off. I think it took me like 3 or 4 tries just to get a shot at beating him, and I barely won then. Now personally, outside of Swift Emperor, this is my most anticipated member that I want to see return. I gotta see that Double Z. The car is already in the game, so I just need the man driving it. The scary part is how fast it's gonna be. With these new updates that we've seen, he's gonna be just blitzing us, and I'm scared to see it, but I'm ready to see it. We need a challenge like that, and it's great. So I believe 1000% based off of the dialogue I had with Midnight Cinderella that he will be making a return, and I can almost guarantee he will be in the Double Z, because anything outside of that is a travesty. Like, well, I had the issue with Speed King, but this right here, this would be an absolute travesty. There's no excuse for this one. This would be a travesty. So can't wait to see that. And I wonder how fast his car is. Are they gonna make him go 263? Probably not. Our car's barely hitting 200, but you never know. As we near the release date, these rivals are sure to make a return to the franchise. Genki definitely has a few more tricks up his sleeve, so anything is possible in the full release. Who do you think will make an appearance in tokyoxtremeracer 2025? Drop your predictions in the comments below. It's always a pleasure to see the community conversating on this series. It's just always great to see, man. And if you stayed this long, hit that like button for your boy and consider becoming a subscriber if you want to see me play the game or see me make more videos like this. It's whatever y'all want. I'm here for y'all. With all that being said, have a great day, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.